Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Mason African Motives. Still working on mathematics for N1 level. So in this platform we shall actually be focusing on the question paper which was written in November 2020, which is an X paper. So that's what we are going to focus on, November 2020. And as you can see on the instructions and information, most important that you have to write the correct number system and also the degree of accuracy here, which is to 3 decimal places unless it's indicated otherwise. Okay, so on question 1, quickly rushing through the questions that we are given, you are asked to use exponents to simplify each of the following without using a calculator. So these are exponents and you are not using a calculator without, which means the calculator is not supposed to be used there. Okay, so the first question on 1.11 is to simplify a to the exponent of 2, b to the exponent of 3 times a b to the exponent of 3 again. And this is 2 marks for that, as you can see, guys. 2 marks for that. Okay, so using the laws of exponents, we know that whenever you are multiplying the bases which are the same, you are going to add the exponents. So this a here is same as a to the exponent of 1. So it means, sorry, we are going to have a to the exponent of 2 plus 1, which is 3, b to the exponent of 3 plus 3, which is 6. All right, so that one was simply adding, guys. As you can see, you are simply adding the exponents there. So that's how actually the first question is. Then the other question again is to simplify, and we've got 4 marks this time for this expression, which is on 1.12. We are given 4 to the exponent of x times 8 to the exponent of x, which is divided to 2 to the exponent of 5x, like this. All right, so this type of a question, actually they like to ask this question if you have cross-checked most of the questions that we have been working with. So actually here we've got 4, 8, so we can write this in simplest form, that is in base of 2. So we have to ask ourselves, which number are we going to use here in terms of 2 to give us 4? So this is 2 to the exponent of 2, and it's multiplying x, so it's going to be 2x times, we are given 8 in base of 2, that's 2 to the exponent of 3. Take note, 2 to the exponent of 3 gives you 8, so it's going to multiply this x which is already there. Okay, divide by 2 to the exponent of 5x, like this. So now we can apply our laws. Remember, guys, whenever you are multiplying like this, the bases, when they are the same like this, you add the exponents. Okay, so it is going to be 5x here, because we've got 2x plus 3x. Okay, then this one is dividing, so you subtract. Whenever you are dividing the bases which are the same, you subtract. Okay, so we're going to have 2 to the exponent of 5x, that is 2x plus 3x, 2 plus 3, which is 5x minus 5x on the exponent, like that. So as we know, that is 5 minus 5, that's a 0. So you're going to have 2 to the exponent of a 0, which gives us a 1. Any number raised to the exponent of a 0 is going to give us a 1. So as you can see, guys, that was the typical question there that we're given, and we can obtain 4 marks by just doing that. Simplify again here on 1.13 is to see we are simplifying, which is we are given 4 the square root of 9 x squared y to the exponent of 4, like this, over, okay, let's just first multiply, that's x to the exponent of 3, y everything to the exponent of 2, like this. Then this is over 2x to the exponent of 7, y to the exponent of 4, like this. And you've got 3 marks, as you can see, guys. That is the question that we are given there. All right, so whenever you are given to simplify this, let's work on the square root first, because as we can see, this 3 is the 4 there is actually outside of the square root, this one. So it's just going to multiply whatever that we are going to obtain inside the square root. And we know that square root of 9, that is 3. So it's going to be 4 times 3. But how do you find the square root of x squared? The square root of x squared like this is the same as x squared to the exponent of a half like this. So that's going to be 2 times half, because we've got exponent and an exponent here. So 2 times a half is going to give us 1. Okay, that's the same as 2 over 1 times 1 over 2. Remember, guys, so you're going to have x there. So you're going to remain with x. So you do the same. The square root of y to the exponent of 4 is the same as y to the exponent of 4 again to the exponent of half, and that's 4 times a half, which is 2. So we are going to be left with y to the exponent of 2 like this, times. What about this part here? We are given an exponent, and an exponent here, because this y is same as to the exponent of 1. So this exponent is going to affect everything inside the bracket there. So that is going to be x to the exponent of 3 times 2, which is 6. And this is 1 times 2, which is 2, like that. So you multiply 3 into the 6. And we can just leave this as let's just leave as x. We'll simplify this later on. So let's start by combining the part on top, which is this one. So we are going to be left with okay, these ones can cancel. We can just cancel this. That's going to give us a 2 there. So 2 times 3, which is 6. All right. Then on this part here, this is x to the exponent of 1 multiplying to x to the exponent of 6. So you're going to add 1 and 6, because you are multiplying the bases which are the same. So you're going to have x to the exponent of 7. That's 1 plus 6. You do the same y and y here. So it's 2 plus 2, which is to the exponent of 4. Everything over x to the exponent of 7, y to the exponent of 4, like this. So at that stage, yes, we can apply the laws of exponents. But guys, as you can see, this is one and the same thing that we are given. This is just one thing. So this can just cancel this, and you're remaining with a 6. So that is what you can actually do there. Or you can subtract 7 minus 7, that's a 0. So it's going to be 6x to the exponent of 0, y to the exponent of 0, 6 times 1, which is 6, because any number to the exponent of 0 is 1. So we are going to remain with 6, because it's going to be 6 times 1 times 1. So that is what we are actually having in this case. So as you can see, these are the typical questions and how you are supposed to have these questions done. All right, then the other question is simplify each of the following logarithms without using a calculator. Again, without a calculator there. So we have got 1.21, which is log 2, that's log 8 in base 2, plus log 16, which is in base 2, and minus 5 log of 3, which is in base 3, and you've got 4 marks for that. To just simplify this, guys, 4 marks. All right, so remember what I told you guys, that whenever you're simplifying logarithms without a calculator, make sure you can write this logarithm in terms of the base that you're given, just like what we have on this one, 3 and 3, so it can be easier. So 8 in terms of 2, this is same as 2 to the exponent of 3 in base 2. Okay, so 8 is same as 2 to the exponent of 3, plus 16, we know that this is 2 to the exponent of 4 in base 2 again. All right, minus 5 log 3 base 3. This law, I wanted to apply it at once, so that is why I'm just ignoring this part, and I'll apply the law at the same time. All right, so this is the law that you're going to apply, guys. Remember, log of m to the exponent of p is the same as p log of m, like this. So if there is an exponent is going to multiply the log like this. This number is going to multiply the log. This number is going to multiply the log, like that, because they are exponents, those ones. So we are going to have at the end, it's going to be 3 log 2 base 2 like this, plus you drop this one, is going to be 4 log 2 base 2 minus 5 log 3 base 3. Okay, now I just want us to apply this law at once at that stage, because as you can see, we've got log a number and a number which is the same, a number and a number which are the same. So we're going to use this law that logarithm of a in base a is equal to 1. Whenever the number and this number are the same, you're going to obtain a 1. So this is going to give us 1, this is going to give us 1, this is going to give us 1. So at the end, this is what you're going to have. It is going to be 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 4 times 1, which is 4, minus 5 times 1, which is 5, because this is same as 1, this is same as 1, this is same as 1. So you can add 3 plus 4 plus minus 5, which is going to give us 2. That's 7 minus 5, which is 2. So as you can see, the log is no longer there, because this is replaced the log to say in place of log a base a, you're going to replace with a number which is 1, and there's no log on that number. So that's how you can actually simplify these typical questions, as you can see. And another one is to simplify again without using a calculator, which is on 1.22 minus 4 log 1 over 3 like this in base 3. Okay, so let's start by applying the laws of exponents here, guys. As you can see, we're given 1 over 3, which is from our laws of exponents. 1 over x is same as x to the exponent of negative 1. So this is the same as minus 4 log 3 to the exponent of negative 1, just like x to the exponent of negative 1 like this in base 3. All right. Now from this concept, as you can see, we are now back to that part where we are given an exponent, and I told you that exponent will multiply, so it will be minus 4 times minus 1, which is going to give us 4 log 3 base 3. So you've dropped this exponent, it multiplies, negative 4 is going to be a positive. Then remember from the law that I say that whenever a number and a log are the same, this is going to give us a 1. So it's 4 times 1, which is 4. So this one is just going to give us a straight number, which is 4. So that's how you simplify these, guys, as you can see. All right, another question is question 2. So as you can see, guys, we have collected 15 marks. Add the expressions. Okay, so this one is simply to add the two expressions. Okay, this one, there's nothing, just have to put the first one, x squared plus 3x minus 1. We add, what are we adding? This expression here. So you just add 4x squared plus 3x plus x as it is. So this is to add, guys. As you can see, when you're adding, a plus does not affect or does not change anything, so everything is going to just remain as it was, because it's a plus and a 4, which is plus 4x squared, plus and plus, which is plus 3x, plus and plus here, which is plus 2. So you can collect like terms in this case. So which like terms are we talking about? We've got x squared and x squared. So take note, this is same as 1x squared. This one, there is 1 there, so you must know that there is a 1 which is there. So it's 1 plus 4, which is 5x squared. Okay, we'll move on to this one with x and x. So it's 3 plus 3, which is 6x. You move on to constants, working with numbers. We've got minus 1 and plus 2, which is going to give us plus 1. So that's what you're going to have in this case. All right, then simplify. Already you're given the brackets there and so forth. So the issue was just to expand brackets and simplify further. All right, so let's just expand brackets, guys, and simplify further, which is on 2.2. That's 2 into 5x squared plus x minus 6 like this, minus 3 into x squared minus x minus 3 like this. All right, so that's the concept that you're given in this case. So what you just need is to expand the brackets and simplify as far as possible. So that's it, guys, and you can obtain a total of these marks, guys. This one was just given. Okay, so 2, you have to multiply 5. That's 2 times 5, which is 10x squared, 2 and x. Take note, this is 1x, so it's 2 times 1, which is 2x. 2 times minus 6, which is minus 12, like this. Okay, this time it's minus 3, which is affecting this bracket. So as you can see, this is 1, so it's minus 3 and 1, which is minus 3x squared. Minus 3 and minus 1, that's going to be positive. 3x minus and minus the positive. Minus 3 and minus 3, which is going to give us plus 9. So we are now back to the same thing where we have to collect like terms. So that's it, guys. Let's collect like terms. So we've got x squared here and minus this one with x squared. So what are we going to have? 10 minus 3, which is 7x squared. All right, then we've got 2x and 3, so it's 2 plus 3, that's going to give us 5x. Then move on to the constants, these numbers without x, which is minus 12 and plus 9, which is going to give us minus 3. So guys, as you can see, we have expanded the brackets and we have simplified. This is an expression, it's not an equation. You are not solving for anything, it's just expanding brackets, collect like terms, then you can simplify as far as possible. All right, so 8 marks for that, for everything on question 2. And question 3, fully factorize the following, each of the following expressions. Okay, fully factorize. Take note, guys. Okay, so we have to perform the factorization as much as we can to the simplest form, that is fully factorized, which means our answer should be in simplest form. And we're just given 2 terms and we just wonder what are you supposed to do here? Okay, so you just have to find the highest common factor between 9 and 6 and 10 there, which is actually 2. That is the highest common factor that we can factor out. And we've got a there, which is common also, so we can factor out 2a. And remember, you have to divide 6a squared b cubed like this over 2a. That is what you're doing. So 6 divided by 2, which is 3, a squared and a, this is going to give us a b cubed like that, minus 10a is now dividing 2a. So as you can see, a and a, it can cancel. 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So that is what you're going to have. So this one was just direct to the point. Just factor out the highest common factor, and the highest common factor is divided by the bracket, and you're given this condition. Now we've got 4 terms and we've got 4 marks for that. Remember, guys, what I've always told you about factorization, when you are working with 4 terms like this, that you have to group these terms into 2 parts like this. By grouping, you just divide into 2 like that, then you factor the highest common factor between these 2. So the highest common factor here, it's x squared, so you're going to factor x squared, which you are going to remain with here. It's x cubed divided by x squared, which you are going to be left with x, minus x squared divided by x squared, which is going to give us minus 1. So this is what you're going to have. And here you must factor out what is going to make this minus x to be positive, because this one is positive x, and this plus should be a minus, so which means you have to factor out minus 1 like this. The moment you factor out minus 1, is going to be minus x squared divided by minus 1, which is now positive x, just like both these brackets should be the same. All right, plus 1 divided by minus 1, it's minus 1. So as you can see, these 2 brackets are now the same. So what am I going to do? I factor out this common bracket of x minus 1. What is going to remain? I'm going to remain with x squared minus 1. This is what I'm going to remain with. But it seems like I have simplified in simple form, but no, guys, remember difference of 2 squares. A squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b into a minus b, like this. As long you can write this as perfect square like this. So this is x squared here. This one is same as 1 squared. So as you can see, we've got x and we've got 1, just a and b, a minus b. So this is going to be written as x minus 1, the one that we already have here, and this difference of 2 squares, this part here, difference of 2 squares, is going to give us 2 brackets, which is a plus b, which is x in this case, plus our b, which is 1, x minus 1, like this. Okay, so as you can see, we have fully factorized now. So it is very, very important that you cross-check after, if you simplified in a simplest form or not. If not, we have to simplify further. That is the condition of these questions that you'll be given. And all right, another part we are given to simplify. All right, then we've got 5 marks for that. Take note, you are dividing, so I'm just going to start by inverting the fraction. Remember that when you're dividing, you introduce multiplication, then you invert the fraction like this. Okay, the second fraction, so let's just write as it is x squared plus 5x over 3 like this. Then we introduce multiplication because we were dividing. So the moment you introduce multiplication, you're going to interchange these fractions. So this is going to be written on top, so it will be 2x plus 10 on top over this one is going to be written down here, which is x plus 5 squared. So you're going to have x plus 5 squared like this. All right, so now we can simplify. Remember, when you are multiplying, you can cancel if possible, but you have to factorize. Now you have to factorize where possible. So factorize where possible. So wherever it's possible, we can factorize. So that is the first part here. We can factorize here. We can factorize. X is common here. We've got x. We can factor out x, which means you're going to be left with x squared divided by x, which is x. 5x divided by 5, which by x, which is 5 there. Everything over 3 times 2 is common between 2x and 10. So you can factor out 2, which is going to give us 2x divided by 2, which is x. 10 divided by 2, which is plus 5 like this. Everything over x plus 5 squared simply means you're multiplying just like 2 squared. It means 2 times 2. So x plus 5 squared means we've got 2 brackets of x plus 5 like this. X plus 5, that is what it means. So now you can cancel because you've factorized and you've written in simplest form. So you can cancel as long it is between the numerator and the denominator. So this one and this one can cancel. X plus 5 and x plus 5 also can cancel. So as you can see on top, we are just left with x and 2. So you're going to multiply what is left, 2 times x, which is 2x over 3 times, you're just left with 1. So it's 3 times 1, which is 3. So our answer is going to be 2x over 3. That is what you're going to remain with. So as you can see, guys, these are just typical questions, and it's a repetition that we are working on and on and on. All right, anyways, determine the lowest common multiple and the highest common factor, which is the HCF of the following algebraic terms by using prime factors. So you have to write these as prime factors first before determining the highest common factor or the lowest common multiple, which is the LCM. So let's just write these numbers as product of their prime factors. I'm going to start with 22. We've got 22a to the exponent of 5, b to the exponent of 3, c to the exponent of 2, like that. All right, so remember, when you're writing as a product of prime factors, you have to divide like 22. The smallest prime factor is 2. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. As you can see, we no longer have a prime factor, so it's just 11. Prime factors, these are numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. These are the prime factors that you target mostly. These are the prime factors that you need to know, okay? So which means 22 is just 2 times 11. So this is going to give us 2 times 11 times a to the exponent of 5 times b to the exponent of 3 times c to the exponent of 2. Just write this as it is. All right, you move on to 2. This one is already in simplest form. So 2a to the exponent of 4, b to the exponent of 4, c to the exponent. This one is just it's already in its simplest form, but we just like expand since we have already expanded the first one. Okay, then we've got 4a squared, b squared, c to the exponent of 5. This one here. So 4 is 2 times 2. So this one is simply 2 times 2, guys. Times a squared times b squared times c to the exponent of 5. Okay, so let's start with the LCM, which is the lowest common multiple. All right, so remember the lowest common multiple. I always say that you take every number, every term that is present. So you've got 2 which is common, so you don't repeat this, but you take here where there are many, here there are many here, so you're going to take these ones. So our LCM is going to be 2 times 2. All right, 11 is also present. You take this 11, so you're going to take 11 also. All right, in terms of these terms with exponents, you take the one with the highest exponent. For LCM, you use the highest. So in terms of A, the one with the highest exponent is this one, so it's going to be A to the exponent of 5. In terms of B, we've got this one, which is B to the exponent of 4. In terms of C, we've got this one, which is C to the exponent of 5. So we take the one with the highest exponent. All right, so you can multiply the numbers. In this case here, we are going to obtain 44, A to the exponent of 5, B to the exponent of 4, C to the exponent of 5. So this is going to be our LCM in this case. All right, then the HCF, which is the highest common factor, guys, I have always said about this that it must be common throughout. So as you can see, 2 is common here, so you're going to take 2. All right, 11 is not common, so you're not going to take this. 11 is totally out, this one. Okay, then on these terms, you take the one with the smallest exponent. This one, this time, the smallest exponent is the one that you're going to take. So make sure it's common first. So A is common, so you take this one with the smallest exponent, which is A to the exponent of 2. All right, you move on to B, the smallest exponent, which is on B to the exponent of 2. You move on to C, which is this one with the smallest exponent, which is C to the exponent of 2. This will be the highest common factor, but it uses lowest or the smallest exponents. So these are two things that you're supposed to take note or to get rid of whenever you're answering questions on HCF and the lowest common multiples. As you can see, guys, 6 marks, and to make a total of 17 on question number 3. These are a lot of marks in exam that we can actually take advantage of. The first questions, make sure that you utilize those. The first questions of the question paper, you should be utilized. Okay, so on number 4, we are asked to solve for x. All right, so let's see what type of an equation are we given there. That's a linear equation, which is 3x plus 4, which is equal to minus x plus 11. So it's a linear equation. You simply need to collect like terms, the terms of x to one side of the equation. So it's 3x plus x. It was a minus, so it's going to be a plus, which is equal to 11, which was already here. You transpose this 4 to 11 here, so it's going to be a minus, so it will be minus 4. All right, that's 3 plus 1x. This x is same as 1x, so 3 plus 1, that's 4x, is equal to, so there you must make sure that you subtract properly 11 minus 4, which is going to give you 7. Then you can divide by 4. Since you want to find this value of x, you divide by the number that is multiplying this one, so that you can cancel it on x. Then your x is going to be 7 over 4, like this. So that is what you are going to have at the end. Then on 4.12, we have to solve again. Okay, let's just see what type of an equation is that and how are we going to solve this one. And as you can see, there are brackets there, so which means there is something that has to do with expansion of brackets there. All right, so this is x squared plus x to the exponent of 0 plus 2x minus 3. So these guys, they just want to test you. Do you know the laws? Do you know how to connect the laws? It's not about an equation, but it's also about some of the laws from other topics also. Okay, so the first part, let us just expand these two brackets here. That's x and x, which is going to give us x squared, x and minus 1, which is minus x. Then we are done with this x. So when you are solving an equation, you don't write is equal to here. You just use one equal sign, which is already there. You just write your steps going like that. So you're done with x. We move on to 4. So it's 4 and x, which is plus 4x. Then you move on to plus 4 and minus 1, which is minus 4. So this is actually equivalent to x squared here there is a law from your exponentials, the exponents there. X to the exponent of 0 gives us a 1. So this is going to give us 1 there, plus 2x minus 3. All right, so you've expanded brackets and we have simplified some laws of exponents which are there. Now we can collect like terms and simplify further, because this is same as minus 1x here. So we are going to have x squared minus 1 plus 3, which is plus 2 plus 4. Let's take note, guys. The mind is tired now. Minus 1 plus 4, which is going to give us actually 3x, because this is 4 minus 3, 4 minus 1, which is 3. And we've got minus 4, which is equal to, right, you do the same here, just you have to collect like terms. That's 1 minus 3. So this 2x we just write as it is. 1 minus 3, which is actually minus 2. Okay, 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. So now you are solving the equations here. So I want you to see something. Transposing this to this side is going to be x squared minus x squared, which is a 0 there. So actually this is going to cancel. So which means you're just going to be remaining with 3x minus 4, which is equal to 2x minus 2, like this, because this is going to cancel. So now we can collect terms of x to one side of the equation, since you are now left with a linear equation. This is going to be 3x minus 2x, which is equal to, we transpose this, take note, this one was a plus, that is why it's now a minus. This one, it's a minus, so once it crosses the equal sign, this one, it will be a plus. So which means you'll be left with minus 2 plus 4, which is 2. Right, I write down this one. Okay, anyways, that's what you're going to have. And 3x minus 2x, that's x, was same as 1x. Right, this one is same as 1x, which is equal to, so therefore x is equal to 2. So that's how you actually answer these typical questions, guys. As you can see, it's an application of the laws that you know about expansion of brackets. Yes, sometimes you'll be given like that one which needed us to apply the law of exponents. So we have to work with the laws of exponents if it is like that, but mostly it will be a direct question. So you just need to work with much question papers. Like I always say, we have to revise more question papers. All right, what about this one, which is on 4.13? We are given the square root of x is equal to 5, like this, and you want to solve. How do you remove the square root? Square root, you square both sides. So you square both sides to remove the what? The square root, like this. So raised to the exponent of 2 both sides. So the moment you square, you're actually neutralizing this. So it's going to be x is equal to 5 squared, which is 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25 there. 5 times 5, that is 25. All right. Then 4.2, you're given a word problem that a certain number squared, a certain number, we do not know the number. So let's just say let x be the certain number there. So x is going to represent the certain number that we do not know. That's the certain number there. All right, then what happened with this number? When it is squared, so that number squared like this, that is this, to square it, and it decreased by 5 is equal to, take note, and it decreased, we are decreasing from the number, not the square from this number, but 5 was decreased from the square. So it's going to be x squared minus 5. To decrease is to subtract. You must obtain 20 there is equal to 20. So you have formed an equation. So the question is determine the number now. All right, so it's an equation. Transpose this is going to be this side. So it's x squared is equal to minus 25. Once it goes to this side, it's going to be a plus, so it will be actually 20 plus 5, which is 25. Then to find this x, we have to remove the exponent. To remember, opposite of squared is the square root. Just like what we did on square root, we introduce square. So this time you introduce the square root. So it's going to be, the moment you introduce the square root, it neutralizes this. So x is going to be square root of 25, which is 5. But actually the answer is supposed to be plus or minus. Square root of any number is plus or minus. Okay, so that is what we here for that number that we are given to calculate, which is plus 5 or minus 5. Given v is equal to this, that make the subject. All right, so let's just take the formula. That is the volume. Actually, if you are to cross-check, this is the volume that you'll be given when you are working with a cone. Okay, so you're given the volume there, which is a third pi r squared h like this, and the question is asking us to make h the subject of the formula. In this case, we have to make h the subject of the formula. So how can we make h the subject of formula? There's a 3 which is a fraction here, so you can just multiply by 3 here, multiply by 3 to remove this, so this can cancel. So you'll be left with 3 times v, which is 3v is equal to, as you can see, this has cancelled, so you're going to be left with 1 pi r squared, which is the same as pi r squared h. You want to make h to be the subject, remember guys. So what can we do? We have to divide by this. Both this is pi, this is multiplying, so we can divide by pi r squared like this, we can divide by pi r squared like this, so that this can cancel. So therefore our h is going to be this part that is on the left side, okay, which is 3v over pi r squared like this. So that will be the term that is representing the h. So now on 4.32, if v is 120 cubic centimeters and r, which is the radius, is 4 meters, determine the value of h, which is the height. So what you are simply doing now is to substitute from this formula that you have determined on 4.31. So it's now 4.32. We are going to start with that formula, which is h now is equal to, remember, our h is equal to 3v over pi r squared. All right, so we are substituting this formula that we obtained here. That is the one that you're going to start with, and we substitute there. So h is equal to 3 times v, which is the volume. So in this case, the volume, we've got volume of 120, so it's going to be 120 over pi r squared, so it's going to be pi times our r in this case, which is 5, so it's going to be 5 squared like this. Okay, so what will be the height there? All right, which is the h. So what you're just going to do is to use your calculator properly. I don't know if it is going to be clear, but like this, guys, it's too much light. Okay, so remember we have got 3 times 20 there, 120, so it's 3 times 120 like this, over, you just put it this down, all right, like this. So it's we've got pi and 5 squared there, so it's pi times 5 squared like this. So it's shift pi times 5 squared, so it's 5 squared this one. Okay, so it's gonna give you something like this, 4 comma something like that. So that is what we are going to obtain in this case, which is 4,58,366,2361 like that. Okay, which is going to be 4,58. 3 decimal place, this is going to round off, which is 4, and this will be in meters. Since the other units were in meters, this one is going to be in meters, which is the height there. So that's what we had, guys, on question 4, which is a total of 16 marks, guys. Your total of 16 marks there. All right, on question 5, you asked given 2y is equal to 2y minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Write down the equation in standard form. Remember, the standard form, guys, is y is equal to mx plus c. So we have to actually transpose and transpose and transpose. Where is this one coming from now? All right, that's 5.11. So we've got, remember, the equation is 2y minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. And we have to make y to be the subject like this. So you can actually transpose all these terms to the other side of the equation. Minus 2x is going to cross and it will be a plus 2x. Minus 2 to this side is going to be a plus 2 again, because it was a minus. So you divide by 2, by 2, by 2. So this can cancel. Y is equal to this one and this one can cancel. This one and this one can cancel again. So y is equal to x plus 1. All right. Then on 5.12, determine the coordinates of the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is this one. Once you write this equation, this represents the y-intercept, this one. So at the y-intercept, remember x is equal to 0. So as a point, it is 0 like this, and y is equal to 1. So it's going to be 0, 1. Or you can just consider this, since we have the equation like this, y is equal to x plus 1. In the y-intercept, since x is equal to 0, you substitute 0 here. So y is going to be 0 plus 1, which is y is equal to 1. Then x is 0, y is 1. You write it as a point. Okay? So that's what you're going to have. Then on 5.13, we need to determine the coordinate of the x-intercept this time. So in the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So this one, y is equal to 0 in the x-intercept. So you're going to have this y is equal to x plus 1 like this, and y is equal to 0. So you're going to have x plus 1 like this, since y is equal to 0 like that. So what will be the value of x? Transpose this, it's going to be 0 minus 1 is equal to x. So which is x is equal to 0 minus 1, which is minus 1. So that means as a point, we are going to have xy like this. This is what represents a point. So your x is minus 1 and your y in this case is a 0. So that is going to be your x-intercept, which is minus 1, 0. So this is a y-intercept and this is the x-intercept. All right, so that is what we are given in this case to determine. Then draw the graph on the graph paper. Okay, so unfortunately guys, I'm not having the graph paper, but I'm just going to show you what was going to happen in this case, because this one you're going to just use the intercepts. It's a straight line, so this is what you're going to do on your graph paper. You're going to divide it into two. You just divide in a normal scale. Okay, then this will be x and y like this. This is your x-axis here, and this is your y-axis like this. So you just put 0 here, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. You just put any scale which is fine. Each box representing maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Okay, so on this one, you're just going to mark this point because you've got the y-intercept, which is at what? At 0, 1, the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, it's a point which lies in the y-axis. It's a point which lies on the y-axis where y is equal to 1. So in the y-axis, this is your y-axis here, where y is equal to 1 is this point. You mark that point in your graph. Okay, then your x-intercept, it's a point which lies in the x-axis and at a point where x is equal to minus 1. So x is equal to minus 1 at this point. You mark the point. Then you can join these 2 points. They are enough for you to draw a straight line like that. These 2 points are enough for you to have the equation of the straight line, which you wrote in standard form as y is equal to x plus 1. So you're just going to write this as y is equal to x plus 1 like that. Okay, so that is your straight line. But in this case, guys, take note, you are supposed to use this in a graph paper. Here I'm just putting in a simpler way. So that was our 5.14. All right, so let's move on to another one, which is 5.2. Also use the graph paper to draw this. Okay, you're given there using table. So as you can see there, we are given using table. You're actually taught to use a table there. So remember, this is a hyperbola, which is supposed to be written in the form of y is equal to a over x. So we are going to interchange that equation. First, it's xy is equal to 6 like this, which you divide by x. So it's going to be like this: y is equal to 6 over x. All right, so now you can draw the table from these values of x from minus 6 up to 6, the ones that we are given here. All right, so let's just mark the points, guys. Let's just put a table here. We have got x and y there. So we've got x and y like this. All right, so the values, we take these values as they are. Write these values because these are the elements of what? Of x. These ones are element of x. So you write them here on x-axis. Okay, so it's minus 6, minus 3. You just write the one that you're given: minus 2, minus 1. We have got a 1 in this case, a 2, a 3, and a 6. These are the values that you are given. So you now substitute when x is minus 6 here. So it's going to be y is equal to 6 over minus 6. You're going to obtain minus 1. You do the same. 6 over minus 3, which is minus 2. 6 over minus 2, which is minus 3. 6 over minus 1, which is minus 6. You move on to 1. 6 divided by 1, which is 6. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. 6 divided by 3, which is 2. 6 divided by 6, which is 1. So you are dividing. In place of x, you are substituting these values. Okay, so using your graph paper, guys, you're going to have a hyperbola, and make sure that you draw that hyperbola in a nicer way, marking the values of x and y properly on your graph. So because of the scale and so forth, guys, I'm just going to see what is going to happen here. But as you can see, it's 1 to 6 here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say this was my scale. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. Okay, we do the same for y. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's our scale there. Now we are going to mark the points minus 6 in x, minus 1 in y. So it's minus 6 in x here, minus 1 in y, where these 2 points meet. Minus 6 in x, minus 1 in y. So where these 2 points meet, you mark a point, okay, on your graph. You move on to another one. Minus 3, minus 2. Minus 3 in x, minus 2 in y. So it's minus 3 in x here, minus 2 in y. Where they meet, you mark a point, okay? You move to another one. Minus 2 in x, minus 3 in y. So it's minus 2 in x here, minus 3 in y, which is at this point. You mark a point. So that's what you're going to do. Minus 1, okay? You move on to minus 1 and minus 6, minus 1 and minus 6, which is at this point, like that. Okay, so take note here is that, as you can see, we do not have a condition where x is equal to 0, because that is where we have the asymptote there. That's where we have the asymptote, where the graph does not pass that point. So there is nothing that you're going to have here. So we're going to move on to 1. That's 1 versus 6. 1 in x and 6 in y here. You mark your point. 2 versus 3. That's 2 versus 3. You mark your point. 2 and 3. 3 and 2. You do the same. 6 in x and 1 in y. That's 6 in x and 1 in y. You mark your point like that. Okay, so it's a hyperbola. You're supposed to know the shape. So this shape is going to be like this. All right, so you just join these points nicely, guys. All right, something like that. You do the same here. You just join your points nicely join the points. So this will be in your graph paper, and you just write down the equation of the line, of the curve of the hyperbola that you are given, which is 6 over x. Now in standard form, that is 6 over x, like that. So that is what you're supposed to do in your graph paper, not on a plain paper like this. Here I'm just giving you an indication of what is supposed to be on your graph paper on 5.2 to obtain a total of 6 marks, to make it up to 18 on this question 5. As you can see, question 5, guys, that was a total of 18 marks there. Okay, then on question 6, we are given now triangle EFG. We are given that EF, okay, EF is equal to EG. These are equal. All right, calculate the values of A, B, or whatever that you're given with reasons. All right, so let's just see what we can calculate first. Okay, these are parallel lines. As you can see, guys, these are parallel lines. So you can have the value of A. Remember, from parallel lines like this, if you cross this value and this value, they give us 180. They are co-interior angles. Okay, so it means A is going to give us from 180. A is going to be 180 degrees minus 140, this one, because they give us 180, this one, so it's going to be 40 degrees. So these are co-interior angles. Co-interior angles. All right, then we move on to another one. So this is question 6b. All right, so let's just find what we can find. Okay, so this is 40 here. Okay, let's just put it this way. We can find this x, okay, y, angles on a straight line. So this is going to be, we can find x is going to be 180 degrees minus 140 degrees again, 140, which is going to give us 40 degrees. These are angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. All right, then we move on. So this is 40 here, and we are given that these two sides are equal, so definitely it's an isosceles triangle, so therefore base angles are equal. So if this is 40, this is also 40 degrees here. So angle y is going to be 40 degrees also. That's base angles of an isosceles triangle, base angles of an isosceles triangle. So it depends with the way that you have used to find this. Okay, so z, we can also find z here. Y, we've got angles in a triangle, so you can just find z, angles in a triangle. Remember that angles in a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees, so z is going to be 180 minus these angles in a triangle, which is 40 and 40. That's 40 degrees plus 40 degrees. Well, there are so many options that we could have done actually, which is 40 plus 40, that is 80, and 100 minus 80 is going to give us 180 minus 80 is going to give us 100 degrees. So that's our angle z. So we've got angles in a triangle, angles in a triangle there. So this is going to give us 100 degrees. Okay, so we've got this b here, so b is going to give us 40 degrees. These are actually corresponding, but we can just use this concept that angles on a straight line. All right, so we can have angles on a straight line to find b, which is 180 degrees minus these two angles, which is 140 here. So it's 100 degrees plus 40 degrees like this. That's angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. So as long as you are using the right procedure and concept, you must obtain these answers. So it's 180 degrees minus 140 degrees, which is actually going to give us 40 degrees. So there are so many options that we could have just used. This one also, you could use alternate angles. As you can see here, we are creating a z here, so you could have used alternate angles. As you can see, there are so many ways of answering this question. Let's see this part here on question 7. We are now given, if a is 30 degrees, b is 60 degrees, determine each of the following by using a calculator. This time they allowed us to use a calculator here, so which means we are just going to put it this way. Sine angle A plus angle B, like this. So you're just going to substitute, which is going to give us sine A. In this case, this is our A, which is 30, our B is 60. So it's 30 degrees plus 60 degrees like this. Okay, so if we add 30 plus 60, is going to give us sine 90 degrees. So from our calculator, sine 90 is going to give us 1. That's sine 90 degrees like this, which is 1. All right, so that is why it was direct. Or you can just open your bracket like this at that stage, like that one. You just put it this way, sine 30 plus 60 like this. You close the bracket, still you are going to obtain the same thing. Okay, then on 7.12, it's sine A degrees plus sine plus cos. This is cos B like this. So let us say sine A. Remember, angle A is 30 degrees. Whenever you see A, you see 30 degrees. A here is 30. So it's going to be sine 30 degrees plus cos B. Our B is 60 degrees. So it's cos 60 degrees like this. Okay. So you can just put it on your calculator like this. Make sure just to put it this way. That's sine 30 degrees, close the bracket, plus cos 60 degrees, close the bracket, which is going to give us a 1. Okay, so this one is going to give us a 1 again. Then we move on to another one, which is on 7.13. This one is now sine B squared like this, angle B squared plus cos angle B squared like this. So this B is just an angle, guys. Okay, so what you're just going to do is to substitute B. In this case, our B is 60 degrees. So it's sine 60 degrees like this, you square the bracket like this, plus cos B, which is 60 degrees again, you square it like that. So what are you going to have? So using your calculator properly, you're going to obtain, let me just do it, a sine here. So open bracket like this, sine 60 degrees, okay, you put in bracket, you close it, then you square after closing the bracket, plus cos, okay, let's open the bracket first, cos 60 degrees, again we close the bracket, we close again, then we square. That's how we are going to do it. It's going to give you a 1. All right, so this is going to give us a 1 there. All right, then we have draw the graph of 3 cos x, okay, using we are given from 0 to 360 and use 30-degree interval. So remember guys, I told you that here you just need to have the values of x and y, in this case 0, 30, 60, 90 and so forth. So this is what you're going to do up to 360 degrees, okay. Then you substitute 3 cos 0, 3 cos, you obtain the values of y, then you can draw. So this one actually is because of the scale that I'm having, but when you are to draw this type of a graph, definitely it is going to be like this at the end. So this table is something else, but it is going to be like this. Always the graph of course is like this, guys. It doesn't change. So this will be 3 and this will be at -3. So these are the that will be 0, 90 there. So we'll be having 0, there 90, 180, 270 and 360. So that's something like that. So you'll be having 30, 60, 90, you'll be having 120 between there. So they will end up in with a graph like that, so that you can obtain those 4 marks. And I think it was easier that way. So you just have to try it, guys, and see what you're going to obtain there. All right, on 8.1 you are given triangle PQR is an equilateral triangle. Take note, we are given an equilateral triangle PQ 4 meters. Calculate the perimeter of the triangle. So let's just say this is PQR like this, and PQ is 4, so this will be 4, 4, 4. So perimeter is distance, right? Take note, equilateral means all sides are equal. These sides are equal. So perimeter is distance right around the shape. So that will be 8.1, which is perimeter is distance. So it's 4 plus 4 plus 4. You add all the sides, side plus side plus side, okay, which is going to give us 16 meters, okay. Then given the trapezium, we're given the trapezium A, B, E up to F, this one, and we are also given A, C, D, F is a square of side 30, which means this is also 30 millimeters. Remember, a square, all sides are equal. This is also 30 millimeters. This is also 30 millimeters, okay. Then we are given that A, B, C, and F, D, E is congruent. So these are congruent. When you're given it's congruent, means that's this side, as you can see, guys, this side and this side are equal, this side and this side are equal, which means also this side and this side must be equal. All right, and we are given that DC is equal to D, which is 40 millimeters. We are given this, okay. Calculate the perimeter of the trapezium A, B, E, F. A, B, E, F. Take note, A, B, E, F, the perimeter. So remember, perimeter is distance right around the shape. So here we already have 30, and this is 30, this is 40. So we are only left with this side. So once we can calculate either AB or FE, because once we calculate this, we already know this one. So you can calculate this one using Pythagoras theorem first, so that we can be able to calculate the perimeter, because perimeter is distance right around the shape. So I'm just going to take this piece here of a right angle triangle, since we've got 30 and 40 here. This is 30, this is 40 here. So you need to find this one. So once we can find this A, B, this one, it means we already have FE, because they are congruent. These two sides are equal, okay. So using Pythagoras, remember, it's C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, where C is the longest side that you're calculating, which is AB. So it's AB squared is equal to 30 squared plus 40 squared, like this, okay. So that would be AB squared is equal to 30 squared plus 40 squared is going to give us something like 2000, what is it, 2500? Yeah, 2500, this one. If you add the two, then you find the square root of the two. So our AB is going to be 50. That's square root of 2500, which is going to give us a 50. This one, meters. It's millimeters. All right. So this will be 50 millimeters like this. That's our AB. So you've got 50 millimeters here. You've got 50 millimeters here. All right. So therefore now the perimeter can be determined, because perimeter is simply the distance right around the shape, which is our perimeter is going to be, just add, that's 30 going, you can choose going this way, so it's 30 plus 50, 30 plus 50 plus, we've got 40 here. From B to C it's 40. All right, from C to D, that is 30, you add everything, plus 30. Then from D to E, which is 40, okay, plus from E to F, which is 50. Then this one is the one that we started with, so you don't write it again. These ones are not included. Perimeter is distance right round, not inside, but right round the shape. That is the perimeter there. So you just need to add these values, guys, together, which is going to give us something like, as you can see, that's 50, 100, 170 here, 200, 240, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to give us 240 millimeters as the perimeter. So perimeter, distance right around the shape. All right. 8.3, the price of a cellular phone is 530, including VAT. How much will the phone cost if discount of 12% is offered? So 12% is offered a discount, so it's just 12% of this value, which is going to be 12% of the value, that is 8.3. That's 12 over 100 times the value, that the amount, which is 530 rand, like that. So that's 12%. So it's 12 over 100 times that value, which is or 0.12, or just 12 over 100. It's just one and the same thing, but times, just move this aside, which is times 530. This is 530. We're just going to give this as a decimal, that's 6.63. Right, so this is going to give us 63.60 rand. Okay, so this is 12%, but we need the price now. How much will the phone cost? So therefore the phone is going to be the amount which was there before, which is 500, minus the what, the discount, which is 63.60, because this it is on a discount, guys, so we have to subtract. Okay, so it's 530 minus the answer that we just obtained now. So let's just 530 minus the answer, which is this 466. So this is going to cost 466.40 rand. Now, as you can see, that is the amount that we are given. Okay, divide 2,200 rand in the ratio of 3:2. So take note, ratio, we have got 3 and 2, so that means 3:2. The total according to this ratio is 5. So 5 is the one that is equal to 2,200 here. So it's going to be 3 over 5 times the total amount, which is 100, which is 200 in this case. And another one is going to be this one, 2 over 5 times the same amount, which is 200. That's how you take the ratio, 3 over total, 2 over total times the total amount. So you are going to obtain 3 over 5 times 200. That's 3 over 5 times 200, like this, which is going to give us 120. So this one is going to give us 120 rand, and this one is going to give us 80 rand. Okay, so that is the concept there. So as you can see, guys, that's how they ask these questions. It's just 2 marks, but a total of 12 marks from the whole of question number 8 that we had. This is what we are given, and that's a total of 100 from this question paper. So as you can see, guys, it's very, very important that we revise as much questions as possible, so that we'll be able to prepare for the exams which are ahead of time. So that's it, guys, from Amazon African Motives, working on mathematics N1 past papers, full exam papers. So if there is any question paper that you want us to work on, let me know on the comment section so that we can work on it before the exams are ahead of before the exams that ahead of time approaches. So we still have the time to prepare for these exams, and we still need to work on more question papers and revision so that you'll be able to answer any question that you be asked in exam. So that's it, guys, from us on African Motives. Till we meet again.